In 2019, British rapper Dave released his long-awaited debut album, Psychodrama. It's a concept album that tells its story through a series of therapy sessions touching on themes like mental health, criminal justice, racial inequality, poverty, capitalism, isolation, and gendered violence. The journey through Psychodrama begins with Dave struggling to open up to his therapist and describe his emotions. In Psycho, manic depressive Dave is trying to stop all the pain. He's trying to get a grip on who he is and all the things that have led to this moment of crisis. His father getting deported for visa issues, growing up alone with his mother around gang violence in Streatham, and his brother Christopher being sentenced to life in prison for murder are all traumatic things to go through. In the second track, Streatham, Dave takes us to his conflicted surroundings, describing the love-hate relationship he has with his area. According to Dave, life in Streatham was caught between school and drugs, and so he went from stealing Vespas with his friends to a luxury car at just 19 years old. Cars for a long time have been a symbol of mobility and getting a fresh perspective. Yet even with this newfound success, he still knows friends that are caught up in the streets, and he can't totally distance himself away from the place that made him who he is today. Black brings together the struggles with mental health in track 1 and the conflicted surroundings of Streatham in track 2 and filters them through the prism of race. This track is my experience. Me being South London, Black, Nigerian, that's what I'm mainly basing it on. Throughout the track, Dave talks about slavery, colonization, police brutality, and the systems that continue to oppress Black people. He mentions these things as a way to capture the expansive nature of what it means to be Black. This idea really harkens back to the Harlem Renaissance. To tie the past to the present, Dave references The Blacker the Berry, a novel by Harlem Renaissance author Wallace Thurman. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. A kid dies, the blacker the killer, the sweeter the news. Then there's Du Bois' theory of double consciousness, the idea of always looking at oneself through the eyes of a racist white society. We can even bring up Langston Hughes and his ideas that he articulated in The Negro Artist and The Racial Mountain. The Racial Mountain is the ideology that Black people must conform to the scripts made by white society. Finally, there's the work of Alain Locke, which heralded the birth of the new Negro. Dave ends with a similar bittersweet note. Black is like the sweetest fucking flavor. Here's a taste of it. But black is all I know. There ain't a thing that I would change in it. In Act 2, Relationships, Dave begins to open up and celebrate his success in the rap game. Yet with success comes a problem of negotiating personal growth with his rapper persona. The superficiality of fame and the strain it puts on forming meaningful relationships is a central conflict. Purple Heart explores romantic relationships, passionate feelings, and the desire for intimacy. Dave expresses his love for a girl, describing his passionate feelings with a series of double entendres and metaphors. But what brings them together is that they have a purple heart. Past experiences that have left them battered and bruised. Dave finally has someone he can share his past with. Someone he can trust with his emotions. But to prove that he is a good partner, Dave defines himself by what he can provide, money and sex. It's clear by the therapy session at the end that Dave has made some progress. Yet, the hyper-masculine image of the rapper lifestyle clashes with his quest to figure out what kind of man he wants to be. Location is a break from the moody atmosphere of the opening tracks of the album so far. It's like summertime at the beach, hanging out with friends, enjoying yourself, and just having fun. It's a victory lap, with Dave flexing the success that he's attained. Track 6, Disaster, plunges us back into the cold dark world of London. Featuring another British rapper, J Hus, Disaster sees the two MCs trading bars and reveling in the violent image of the streets. The two style themselves as the defenders of the street code, doling out rightful vengeance against snitches, traitors, babies, and informers. Disaster is followed by another dark portrait of London, this time characterized as the Screwface capital. London is a hard city with a stark divide between the rich and poor. Yet Dave has achieved success in the industry, and he now has a lifestyle which he could only once dream. This new financial success, however, comes with a consequence: more attention. Paranoia and the trappings of fame make all of Dave's relationships fraught with danger and mistrust. Who is your actual friend? Who can you really trust? And so, environment sets up the third act where Dave finally peels back all the layers of artifice to get to the heart of his pain and trauma. He starts by tearing down the grandiose image of the modern day rapper and the industry that carefully cultivates this image. In the process, Dave finally sees who he is, what his values are, and understands why he is the way he is. So far in the album, wealth is a symbol of success and self-worth, an ode to copious consumption. He offers a critique of this for the first time in his album, exposing the wounded egos underneath. He has to be with 20 man when he wears jewelry, and you see it as gangster, I see it as insecurity. Rappers moving around with a large entourage appear gangster and in control of their situation. But Dave suggests it's actually a sign that rappers are vulnerable. By interrogating the hollow image of the rap industry, Dave shows the humanity underneath. Rappers aren't invulnerable. They are just as insecure, lonely, and traumatized as everyone else. Leslie is an 11-minute story about a girl suffering from abuse at the hands of her boyfriend Jason. It's a tragedy, a tale of domestic violence, pregnancy, and betrayal. In the end, while battling for her life in the emergency room, it's revealed that Leslie suffered a miscarriage. Dave then breaks the fourth wall to implore his listeners to get help if they are in a similar abusive relationship. He also criticizes the way that men dismiss stories of abuse to blame women for the terrible situations that they end up in. Leslie is a therapist's final appearance on the album, yet there are 2 more tracks left. Voices brings back the upbeat vibes. Dave describes his new relationship with his emotions and reveals how therapy is an ongoing process. All of the pain and struggle with his emotions did not go away magically after therapy. They stayed with him. Dave has decided to accept it and have a more positive outlook going forward. I fell in love with optimism. That whole track is metaphorical, but it's about a constant chase for happiness. Drama, the final record, brings the whole album full circle. The first track, Psycho, and the last track, Drama, come together to form the album title, Psychodrama. Drama is also a message to Chris, a nod to the psychodrama that he went through in prison. Dave brings up the past, how Chris's imprisonment left him without a father figure since he was only a child when their father was deported. As a result of this pain, Dave finally understands why he is the way he is. Family separation as a young man led to issues with commitment as an adult and an obsessive drive to make a way for his family and succeed in music. To heal and make sense of the journey, Dave has processed his past traumas and feels at peace with what he's experienced. It's bittersweet, but at least it provides some sort of closure.